It's June of 2023. I've made the long trip from Ohio out to the West Coast in Washington State, where I met my buddy Kevin. Together, we traveled north of the border into British Columbia in search of Bigfoot. The Pacific Northwest has some of the most beautiful landscape you could ever hope to set your eyes on. The landscape formations here are evidence that this area was carved out by a glacier tens of thousands of years ago. As the glacier receded, it left behind debris that formed the drumlins and eskers and other formations that created the landscape here. What's left behind when that occurs are hills that tend to be long and tapered on one end, sometimes winding, and almost appear similar to a modern-day railroad embankment. Although Kevin and I were stopping here momentarily, we would not be staying here to camp. We're traveling further to the interior of the forest to set up camp for the night. We did not, however, want to pass up this opportunity to capture some great videos of this gorgeous landscape. Of course, we traveled on the freeway to get here from Washington State, but a majority of the smaller roads that we had been on have been a combination of trails and gravel roads, Forest Service roads, and other trails that we used to get into the area where we would be camping. Without wasting any more time, we packed up the drone and headed up into the mountains to find camp. After making it up the Forest Service road on a very well-maintained trail, we reached part of a trail that would be absolutely daunting. A prior slide had taken out part of the trail. Don't get me wrong, the road was still passable, but with so much debris on the right side and not much room on the left, it left us off camber enough during this passage that made us extremely uncomfortable knowing that it was hundreds of feet down into the ravine on the left. It was slow going on this portion because it didn't matter whether I was too much to the right or too much to the left. The result would be a very long trip quickly to the bottom. Finally, we were breathing a sigh of relief. We were in the clear, and it looked like the trail was going to be wide enough, at least what portion was visible to us. I made a bit of a mistake with some of the last footage I had recorded on my drone. I had not erased it and it did not leave me enough room to record quite as much as I would have liked to for this portion. But I was able to use the drone to do some recon. And as we made our way down the hill, I saw something that we wanted to check out. A dark spot just ahead of our current location. So we made our way down the trail as quickly as we could to get to the area before it had a chance to run off. One more piece of advice to note: if you plan on going up into Canada to do any backcountry exploring or off-roading in areas especially where there isn't much cell phone coverage, make sure to take a two-way radio with you. They're available on Amazon. If you can get one that's programmable, that's even better, so that you can program the frequencies on the fly. I found a sign here on this road that let us know that sometimes two-way radios were the only way to communicate, and that other entities working in the area, like logging or doing whatever other kind of work I guess they do up here, would want to be able to contact you, and for traffic control might need to contact you via two-way radio, and they'll give you a frequency to program in. So if you plan on coming up and doing anything like that, a good piece of advice might be to have that piece of equipment with you. Once we got to the area in question, I got the drone up, and to my surprise, I was actually able to pretty quickly spot what it was that we had seen. Of course, in the video, I can clearly see this has 4 legs, but when I was looking at the drone originally and recording this, I couldn't. So I got excited for just a moment. After the figure had passed through the trees, I could no longer see it, and I also could not find it using the drone at first either. So Kevin took that opportunity to hop out on foot and walk down the road from the direction we had just come from to see if he could spot anything. I sent the drone a little ahead of the area that Kevin was walking in, just so I could scout the area and see if I could give any information that could help guide him into the right location. And that is when I found exactly what it was that we had been looking at. Let's see if you can figure it out. Unfortunately, looking at a small monitor while you're trying to control the flight of a drone, especially in sunlight, makes the image on the drone not always so easy to figure out. But once I saw some movement, it made it a little bit easier to zero in and figure it out. That's right, we had a positive ID on Bullwinkle. As if that wasn't enough fun for one day, we needed to be heading back to our campsite. Unfortunately, the weather forecast had changed, and we wanted to make sure we got the latest update because neither Kevin nor I are huge fans of camping in the rain. I shouldn't say that, because actually neither one of us mind camping in the rain, but nobody that I know likes packing up a campsite when it's pouring down rain, or packing up a wet campsite. And unfortunately for us, the weather system that was supposed to be hitting tomorrow at 1 p.m. was now after checking the weather, scheduled to hit tonight at 9. So we got back to the campsite and actually began packing up camp so that we didn't get caught in it. Be sure to stay tuned for the next part of my Pacific Northwest series. And like and subscribe if you like my content, and hit the notification bell if you want to get notified when I release a new video. Thank you. Have a great day.